Hello, welcome back to Yoga for You. I'm Cheryl. In this video, we're going to combine some Hatha Yoga with yoga therapy. We're going to stretch and move the pelvis, the hips, and then the legs. So if you've been doing a lot of walking lately and need your legs stretched out, this will help. Or maybe you've been sitting too much and your lower back and pelvis need some movement. So that's what we'll do in today's video. But please remember that with all yoga, just do what feels right. If something doesn't feel good or while you're doing the yoga or after, then stop or do less. Thank you. So we're going to start by going down onto our backs on the floor. Bring yourself into this supine position, and if you need a strap, you can use a yoga strap. This is a karate strap, or you could use a house coat strap. So we've got our knees bent, our feet flat on the floor. We can bring our hands to the belly. You can have your eyes opened or closed, and when you inhale, just see if you can get the belly to rise up when you inhale. And when you exhale, the belly empties. Inhale, the belly rises because the diaphragm is pressing the contents of the belly down. And when you exhale, the belly empties. The diaphragm, the breathing muscle, is moving up. Bringing yourself into the room and onto your mat, leaving everything else behind. We'll start with bringing the right knee to the chest, interlacing the hands around the knee. So here's how you can use a strap. If you can't reach your hands around the knee, you can put a strap around the knee and let the arms rest down beside you. Or you could put the strap behind the back of the leg, or your hands behind the back of the leg. So whatever works best for you. This helps to release the lower back and the hips. Slowly bring the right foot to the floor. Just take a moment, and then we'll bring the left knee to the chest. Keep your shoulders relaxed. You can focus on your breath. Inhale, the belly rises. Exhale, the belly empties. And slowly bring that foot to the floor. Now we can bring both knees to the chest. Again, you can interlace your hands around the knees or behind the backs of the thighs, or you can use the strap if you find it's difficult to reach this position. You can rock a bit from side to side, massaging your lower back. And then coming back to the center, slowly lowering the feet to the floor. Just notice how you feel. Take a moment just to breathe and feel. So now we're going to bring the feet together and the legs together. We're going to walk the feet towards your bottom. And we're going to lift the right foot off the floor. And we're going to wrap the right leg around the left leg. So there's no space at all between the legs. We're going to take the knees over to the floor on the right, but notice the left foot. I'm not letting it slide down the mat. Just keep it where it is on the floor. Don't let it slide. You'll go on to the instep of the foot. Some of you will be able to take your knees all the way down. Some of you will be higher. But keep both shoulder blades on the floor. And if you like, you can take the left arm and reach it up behind you on the floor. But if that bothers your shoulders, take the arm out to the side, or take it out of the stretch altogether. So you don't want any pain in your shoulders. So we relax here. We can look up to the ceiling, or we can turn our heads in the opposite direction. And try to relax. The weight of this leg will create a strong stretch in the left side of the pelvis or the upper leg. But if you're not tight in those areas, you won't feel anything. Relax, breathe, inhale, the belly rises with air, exhale, the belly empties. After 2 or 3 breaths, we bring the knees back up to the center with an inhalation, and then we exhale and take them over to the left. Again, my shoulder blades remain on the floor. Now I can take the right arm and reach it up behind me on the floor. So I'll show you again. If you're struggling with this arm, then take it out to the side or leave it out. Okay. And both my feet are now on the floor, and I feel the stretch in the side of the pelvis, maybe in the back, maybe down in the leg. And we relax here and breathe. But if you find this painful, then don't stay here. Come out of the stretch sooner. So this is up to you, how long you stay here and when you come out. You inhale back up to the center. So just to review that, it was the knees over to the right. The left arm reaches up behind you. Your shoulder blades stay on the floor. Stay there breathing 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale back to the center. Exhale to the left. The right arm reaches up. Try to relax. Focus on your breath. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the nostrils, back to the breath, keeping your mind connected to your body. And then we inhale, bringing the knees back to the center, unravel the legs, and take a moment to connect to the breath and notice how your body feels. So now we'll do the other side. Feet together, legs together. Walk the feet up towards your bottom. We'll lift the left foot off the floor, wrap the left leg around the right leg. We inhale here, and with the exhalation, we'll take the legs over to the left without sliding the right foot anywhere. It can roll onto the instep. The right arm reaches behind you. You relax and breathe. Try to let everything go. Focusing on your breath. Inhale, the belly rises. Exhale, relax into the exhalation. See if you can extend the exhalation. When you're ready to switch sides, inhale, the knees come back to the center. Exhale, you take them over to the right. And now the left arm reaches up behind you on the floor. Both shoulder blades are on the floor. You come off of the one side of the pelvis, so you're only feeling one side of the pelvis on the floor. Relax and breathe. And when you're ready to come out, inhale, bring the knees back to the center and unravel the legs. Coming back to this supine position with our knees bent, we connect with our breath and notice the sensations. So you may want to do that twist several times. You may not. It depends on how you feel. The next movement, we bring the feet together again, the legs together. We walk the feet towards our bottom. We're going to start with the same movement. Take the right foot off the floor, wrap the right leg around the left leg. This time we take the left foot off the floor and bring the knees towards the chest. We reach the hands forward, and you might have to lift your back off the floor. We try to interlace our hands around the left knee and then bring the back and the head to the floor. We're going to make this nice little pulsating movement. So now if you can't reach your hands around your knee, you take the strap and put the strap around the knee. You can bring the arms to the floor or leave the hands near the knee, and as long as you keep the shoulders relaxed, and you can do this nice little pulsating movement with the strap or with your hands. Or you could also put your hands behind the thigh. So some of you will feel a stretch in the pelvis, and some of you might not if you don't have tight muscles there. So just do what feels right. Be gentle. Do this as often as you like and as long as you like. And when you're ready to come out, slowly release your hands. Slowly bring the foot to the floor. Unravel the legs and place both feet on the floor. Return to your breath and notice how the body feels. Notice how one side feels different than the side you haven't used yet. Feet together, legs together. Walk your feet towards your bottom. Lift the left foot off the floor. Wrap the left leg around the right leg. No space between the legs. The foot on the floor comes up. The knees come to the chest. You reach, lift your head and back off the floor and try to interlace your hands around the right knee, and then lower yourself to the floor. Use your strap if you need it, and then this nice little gentle pulsating movement. Feeling the stretch in the left side of the pelvis. Following the breath in and following the breath out. Nice and slow. And when you feel that you've done enough, you release your hands, slowly bring the foot to the floor, unravel the legs. Feet are about hip width apart. Just take a moment to connect to the breath and feel the sensations. Connecting your mind to the body. The next movement is a gentle warm-up for the lower back and the pelvis. This is the pelvic area, and you have these two frontal hip bones, and you can find them with your fingertips. You just find the bones, gently place your fingers on them, and you want those bones to be side by side. This is about alignment. So you don't want the bones to be out of alignment like this. So we bring them into alignment just by feeling each side, finding, are they in alignment or are they out of alignment? So once you've found those frontal hip bones, you can start your pelvic tilting, rolling the pelvis forward towards you, and then when you release, the pelvis rolls away from you. The pelvis rolls towards you, and when you release, it rolls away from you. So some of you will find that this is challenging, and some of you will find this very easy. This can help to loosen up your lower back. Now you can add the breathing. We could inhale as the pelvis releases and rolls away from you, and exhale as the pelvis rolls towards you. Inhale, release. Exhale, the pelvis rolls towards you. So if you find that you have a stiff back in the mornings, this is a wonderful movement to do even before you get out of bed. You're warming up the muscles in your lower back and in the pelvis. And then we'll let that go. Now your feet are hip-width apart, meaning the heels of the feet are in line with your sit bones. Your sit bones are in the center of your buttocks. And the heels of your feet are below your knees. We're going to do a very popular hip stretch. But notice I have my hands on the frontal hip bones again, lining them up, so that when I take the right foot off the floor and flex it, and put the outside of the right foot on top of the left thigh, the frontal hip bones haven't gone out of alignment like this. You bring them back so that they're side by side. So this is the first step. Some of you might feel a pull already here. If you want to do more, you take the left foot off the floor, bringing the legs towards the chest. And if you want to do more again, the right hand goes through the hole and you interlace your hands behind the back of the left thigh, lowering your head and back to the floor. And some of you may even be able to put your hands around the outside of the leg, as long as your shoulders aren't being strained. Now this is where the strap can come in handy. If you just can't reach, or maybe you're struggling to reach with your shoulders, you put the strap behind your thigh and get your upper arms on the floor, and you can be in the position with the strap. This is a wonderful stretch for the muscles in the pelvis and the hamstring muscles connecting to the pelvis. You relax and breathe in the position that you are comfortable in. Try not to struggle in these poses. Your shoulders are relaxed, so any one of these variations. When it's time to release, you release your hands, bring your foot to the floor, maybe stretch out that leg, and bring the foot back to the floor. Finding those frontal hip bones, lining them up, taking the left foot off the floor, flexing it. The outside of the left foot is resting on the right thigh. The foot comes off the floor, the leg comes towards the chest. You can stop here, or you can take the hand through the hole, interlace the hands behind the back of the thigh. Relax your shoulders. Use your strap if you need to. Or for those of you who are more flexible, you can put your hands around the outside of that knee. Following the breath in and following the breath out. Slowly releasing, bringing the foot to the floor, stretching out the leg, and lowering it down. I would recommend you do that stretch maybe 2 or 3 times on each side. You get a much better stretch after the muscles have warmed up. From this position, we'll stretch our hamstrings. These are the muscles in the backs of the upper legs, and when they get too tight, they can pull your pelvis out of alignment. It can affect your knees and your feet. So many people have tight hamstrings. And when we stretch the hamstrings in this position, there's no weight bearing on the muscles. So it's a very good way to begin to look after your hamstrings. So starting with the feet hip width apart. Again, the heels of the feet are in line with your sit bones, the heels of your feet below your knees. And we're going to start by bringing the right knee to the chest. And I'd suggest to use a strap here, but you don't have to. I like to use a strap. We put the strap around just below the ball of the foot, and then we straighten the leg up to the ceiling. So I don't want to involve my shoulders, so I'm going to slide the hands down either side of the strap and let the arms rest on the floor. Now I'm keeping a nice straight line in the inner edges of my feet, so you don't want the foot to turn out. And you want to keep the back of your pelvis on the floor. we're going to move the leg in the direction behind the head, and meanwhile this bent knee stays in line with the side of your body, and you can gently press your left foot into the floor. So see what happens. Do you get a stretch in your hamstrings? Sometimes you have to bend the knee a little bit to get a better stretch. So see what works for you, with a bit of a bent knee or with a straight leg. And you can do both. So you're sending the leg in the direction behind your head. You're not pulling with your arms. Your arms are relaxed. It's a bit of a support for your foot, the strap. So if you feel that you need a little rest, you can take the leg back to a position that you're not stretching, and then you can bring the leg back in the direction behind your head again. Let's notice what you're feeling. Where are you tight? If it's all behind the knee, then bend the knee a little bit. We want the stretch to be in the hamstring area. Okay. So we'll do one leg. It's up to you how long you stay here, how long you stretch. And then when you bring that foot down, nice and slow, lowering it down to the floor, and let it rest. And then we'll go to the other side. We'll bring the knee to the chest, strap just below the ball of the foot, straighten the leg up to the ceiling, let the arms rest on the floor, so there's a bit of a pyramid shape to this strap. Gently pressing the foot on the floor, into the floor, and moving the leg in the direction behind your head. Keeping your pelvis on the floor. Keeping your upper body relaxed. Let's notice if there's a difference between the two legs. See if you can feel the stretch in the upper leg. Remember to try and experiment by bending the knee and straightening the leg. We do not want the stretch to be in the knee. We want to get it into the hamstrings. Keep your neck nice and long. No tension in the strap. So for those of you who don't like to use a strap, you could do this without a strap. If you're going to use your hands, you're not pulling. You just gently place your hands behind your leg. So you're not. The work is being done with the leg, not with the arms. And then slowly lower that leg down. And bend the knee. So I would suggest you do that 2 or 3 times. And you'll get a better stretch. The second movement, we have to get through the first one to get to the second one. So we knee to the chest, straighten the leg up to the ceiling. We can move it in the direction behind our head. So now we're going to be taking this leg out to the side. So we're going to reach up with the right hand, grab onto both sides of the strap, and then we're going to take the leg out to the side. We're going to let the upper arm rest on the floor. Now your left hand needs to go to the left side of your pelvis, and make sure that the left side of your pelvis stays on the floor, because you don't want the left side. If the left side comes off the floor, this happens, and there's no stretching in the legs. So keep the left side of the pelvis on the floor. Try to straighten this lifted leg, flex through the foot, and the standing knee does not flop out to the side. It stays in line with the left side of the body. So the left side of the body, it's very important to keep the left side of the pelvis on the floor, the left knee in line with the left side of the pelvis. So you can bring that leg back up for a rest, keep the back of the pelvis on the floor, and take it out to the side again. This is an inner leg stretch. the adductors, the muscles on the inside of the leg. How many times that you're comfortable with. And then you take the strap off, slowly lower the leg and let it rest. And we'll do the other side. And the knee to the chest, strap around the ball of the foot or just a little bit lower than the ball of the foot. Bring the leg in the direction behind the head. Reach up with the left hand towards the left foot. So I'll show you on this side. If you take your right hand to the right side of your pelvis, you feel the right side of your pelvis touching the floor. And as you take the leg out to the side, you want to keep the right side of the pelvis touching the floor, because if it comes off, you lose that resistance that's creating the stretch. So by keeping the right side of the pelvis on the floor and taking the left leg out to the side, you're creating that dynamic tension. The inner leg muscles are being stretched. If you tip off, there's no more stretch. This knee stays nice and solid and in alignment. It doesn't flop out to the side. Keep your shoulders on the floor. Keep your chin level with your forehead. And remember, you can bring it up for a little break and take it back out to the side. Your upper arm is resting on the floor. And slowly lower it down. And let it rest. So there's one more step to this series of leg stretches. We go through step 1 and 2. So here's step 1 again. Stretching the hamstrings. Moving the leg in the direction behind your head. Step 2, reaching up and taking the leg out to the side. Stretching the inner leg muscles. So here's step 3. We're going to straighten the left leg. Slide it down, slide the foot down the floor and flex the foot. Both feet are flexed. Both feet and both legs are active. We bring the right foot up to the ceiling. Now we switch hands. We're going to reach up with the left hand, grabbing the strap. The right arm can rest on the floor beside you. And then we continue to take that leg over towards the floor on the left. But I don't bring it to the floor. I leave it about hip level. So you're on the side of your left hip. Both shoulder blades are on the floor. And it's very important that your left leg that's on the floor is straight and that your foot is flexed. Because if you're relaxed like this, you've lost the stretch. So both legs are active. Both feet are flexed. Both legs are straight as you can be. You can look up to the ceiling or you can turn your head in the opposite direction. You bring the leg back out to come up. Take the strap off and slowly lower the leg to the floor, letting the legs relax. Now we'll do the left side. We'll take the knee to the chest, strap around the foot, slide the hands down so the upper arms rest on the floor, and you're gently pressing the right foot into the floor as you bring the left leg in the direction behind your head. Remember to keep the back of the pelvis on the floor. Experiment with bending the knee or keeping it straight. And then the second step, reach up with the left hand. You can monitor the right side of your pelvis by placing your right hand on the pelvis. As we take the leg out to the side, we make sure the right side of the pelvis stays on the floor. The third and last step we slide the right foot down the mat, straightening the right leg, flexing the right foot. Both legs are active, both feet are flexed. Take the left foot up to the ceiling, reach up with your right hand, grabbing onto the strap, and continue to take that foot over towards the floor. Notice how my right upper arm is resting on the floor and there's not a lot of tension in the strap. Keeping both feet flexed, both legs straight, and you'll notice that the foot on the floor, I've rotated the foot so the baby toe touches the floor. You do that on both sides. The action here is to activate the legs, flex the feet, straighten the legs, reach out through the feet. And then, sorry, that's our dog Frankie. We'll bring the leg back up to the ceiling, release the strap, and slowly lower the leg down towards the floor. Connecting to your breath. And you can bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. Take a few moments to notice the sensations. I'm going to bring the knees to the chest, rock gently from side to side. We're to roll over onto the right side into the fetal position and push ourselves up. We're going to come to a seated posture. Now we're in our seated posture. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and interlace the hands around the toes, and then pull the heels towards the pelvis and sit up nice and tall, lifting the abdominal muscles. Try to think of your abdomen as lifting up, relaxing your shoulders and pressing the legs down towards the floor. Imagine that the thighs are stretching from the tops of the thighs down to the knees. As you press the knees down to the floor, that imaginary string is pulling you up from the top of your head. Relaxing your shoulders, breathing, lifting the abdominal muscles. This is a great stretch for your inner leg muscles. Keep the shoulder blades down. Focus on your breath. And then slowly release. Extend your legs or cross them, it's up to you. And just notice how that feels. And we'll take the legs out to the side. This can be a bit challenging for many people because of the tightness in the legs. And if you find that you can't sit up, that you're slouching like this, you could use a block. I'll grab the cushion and show you. And if you sit up on something, it could be a folded blanket even, then you'll be able to sit up taller rather than slouching like this. Okay? So we want to line the toes up with our legs. We don't want the toes to be flopping out to the sides. And we can do a little bit of adjusting with the legs. We can roll the flesh inward so that it pulls out to the back. So the rotation of the flesh is this direction. And we press our legs down towards the floor and our feet are flexed. And then again, we try to lift the abdominal muscles up and also the sternum. You're not hinging at the rib cage. You're imagining a vertical lift all the way up through the top of the head. And then you can place your hands behind you. Shoulder blades are down. think of your shoulder blades moving forward. So not tilting your rib cage, but just the shoulder blades moving in towards your back. Think of your legs pressing down towards the floor, lifting the abdominal muscles, lifting the chest, the imaginary string pulling you up from the top of the head as you continue to focus on your breath. This is Upavista Konasana, the seated spread leg forward fold. Oh, because the next step is to lean forward into a forward bend, but that's a little more advanced. So for you advanced practitioners, you can keep your spine straight and tip it forward, but no rounding of the back. Following the breath in and following the breath out. Just as long as you're comfortable. And then slowly release and bring the legs back to neutral. Our next movement is a wonderful stretch for the backs of the legs. So we start with our legs extended. Keep the feet flexed, toes pointing up to the ceiling. We'll slide the left heel up towards the pelvis, and it'll probably be just above the knee. But one thing you want to watch out for is that you don't shift your pelvis. You don't pull the foot up so high that the pelvis comes out of alignment. We want to keep the pelvis, the two sides of the pelvis, side by side. And then in this position, we're going to lift our abdominal muscles and lift our chest up towards the ceiling. And then we lean forward without any rounded backs, and we try to touch our toes. We don't want to go into this rounded position. So this is where we can use the strap. Put the strap around our foot. And we're not pulling, this is just an extension of the hands and the arms. And we keep our shoulder blades down and we lift. Lift the chest, lift the back, lift the head. So you're being active in this movement. Now be aware of the foot, we don't want it to turn. We want to keep it in a good alignment, nice straight lines on either side of the foot. Keeping the foot flexed, and the spine tips forward, but we keep lifting the back, lifting the chest, lifting the head. But notice how my shoulders are relaxed, my hands are relaxed. And if you're more advanced, you can inhale, lifting up through the crown of your head, exhale, leaning forward, but keep the lift in your chest, the lift in your head. And also the alignment of the center of your sternum is in line with the inner edge of your leg. (20 to 30 seconds holding the pose and coming out nice and slow. And I'll show you from a side view. Both legs are straight, both feet are flexed. We're going to slide the heel just above the knee. We're going to line the center of the sternum up with the inside of the leg. Notice my back is nice and straight. I'm not rounding my back. And then we tip the spine forward. The bend comes from the top of the legs. Keeping the back straight, the shoulder blades down the back. We can use our strap again. The shoulders are not lifting up, they're down. And just go gently. Use your breath. Don't force or muscle your way through. Just let the breath guide you. Be very gentle and kind to your body. And then lift your chest, lift your heart, Lift your back, lift your head. Be aware of your breath, following the breath in and following the breath out. Shoulder blades down, but you're being active with the lifting of your chest, arching, a little bit of an arch in your back. That imaginary string pulling you up to the ceiling. And for those of you who are more flexible, you can bring your head down towards your leg, but without rounding your back. You keep lifting your back, lifting your chest, and you'll find yourself getting closer to the leg. Good. And you can do that several times on each side. You'll find that by the third time, you'll get a much better stretch. Our last movement before Shavasana will be a seated twist. We'll start with our legs extended, and then we'll take both feet to the left. So the knees bend, and we try to have the right foot right under the left shin. So I notice that both of my buttocks are not on the floor. The left buttock is off the floor. So we have to try to get it closer to the floor. So I'm going to take a folded up blanket or a bolster. I'm going to put it under my right buttock. Just out to the back, not right underneath. And that will help me have my two sides of the pelvis more level, not one higher than the other. Okay, now we try to be nice and tall, shoulder blades down, lifting our abdominal muscles, our chest. And then after we've created this lengthening, we turn our spine to the right, keeping our shoulder blades down, moving our shoulder blades into the back, and lengthening up through the top of the head. If you find that this is challenging, you can come back to the center, have a little break, and do it again. We inhale, lengthening. We need to have nice space between the spinal vertebrae, and twisting. If you can hold it, we inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Inhale as we come out, extend our legs. Take a moment to feel a lot of things going on in the back. So if that was challenging for you, just be gentle on your body. We're going to take the feet over to the right. So again, try to have the left foot underneath the right shin. The right shin's resting there. And again, my right buttock is off the floor, so in order to get it down closer to the floor, I'm going to sit up, put a bolster under my left buttock, so it'll lift the left buttock and bring the right side down. Lengthening up through the spine. Imagine we're lifting our abdominal muscles, our chest, our shoulder blades are down, and then we can turn to the left. One side might seem a lot easier than the other. Think of your spine being vertical, and each inhalation you lengthen upwards, and each exhalation you relax into the exhalation and into the twist. And coming back. Good. So we'll go back onto our backs into our supine position. Take a few moments to feel. There might be a lot of energy down in the pelvis, down in the legs. You could do a little bit more pelvic tilting if you felt that would help. Rolling of the pelvis forward and back. And then the next time you bring the pelvis forward towards you, press your feet into the floor and lift your pelvis up to the ceiling. This is the bridge pose. Relax your arms on the floor, either palms down or up. And then when you want to come out, roll your spine back down onto the floor. So we'll do that one more time. Inhale. As you exhale, roll your pelvis forward towards you. Press your feet into the floor and lift the pelvis up to the ceiling. You can hold it or you can come down anytime, slowly rolling from the top of your spine down to the bottom of your spine. And then bringing the knees to the chest, interlacing your hands around the knees and rolling across your back from side to side. We'll come back to the center, slowly lowering the feet to the floor. We're going to have Shavasana now. We bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees open up. Arms down beside you, palms face up. We'll slide one foot down the mat and the other foot down the mat. And we make any adjustments to be more comfortable. And check that your chin is level with your forehead. And close your eyes. And bring your mind and awareness to the breath, to that space below the nostrils, above the upper lip. And witness and observe the breath as it falls into the nostrils and falls out of the nostrils. The moment you notice your mind has wandered, bring it back, back to the nostrils, back to the breath, back to where you are right now, here, in this moment. You can stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. When you're ready to come out, start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, ever so gently moving your head from side to side. Oh, I forgot something. When you're ready, slide the arms along the floor until they're up over your head. Inhale, stretch yourself into. Exhale out through the open mouth. One more time, big stretch. Big exhalation. Bring the knees to the chest. Roll a bit from side to side. Take the knees over to the floor on the right side and press yourself up. Back to a seated posture for a few moments, connecting to your breath. And bring the hands to the heart center. Lower the head down towards the heart, sending yourself a little thank you for taking this time to look after yourself today. Namaste.